So we're back for another week, and we have had some semi-decent SBCs, to be honest. I feel like it was kind of just almost like a break week. Everybody's ready for Thunderstruck. We normally get a lot of packs, a lot of players, flash SBCs, flash players, so I'm hoping they're bringing something back, because it is very stale at the moment, not gonna lie. It is a little bit boring. Everybody's ready now for something big to come, and Thunderstruck normally do something. So the question is, especially with a lot of the fodder that's going to be coming around, plus all of the party bags, the max 90 icon pick that we got, or pack, what do we actually want to complete in terms of players? Now we've got this list of players, to be fair, there's a fair few, a few higher rated ones or higher priced ones coming in now, but who is the ones that you want to do and who's the ones you want to stay away from? So let's go straight in with the free icons. Now, these are probably the biggest disappointment we've seen for many, many years, to be honest. Since they took out like the R9s, the Cruyffs, when they started doing them, and then they just said they were too expensive to do, which is what it is. I suppose they do them later on in the game. But these are awful. Like genuinely, these are terrible players. Now, the only kind of saving grace with them is they're not necessarily millions. They're not 500, 6, 7, 800k each. They are respectable prices at the minimum. But that's the problem, is they're respectable prices because who they are and what they actually can do. Now, obviously, we started with Veron. He came during the Thunderstruck, was it? Was he a Thunderstruck?
If you need coins in FC25, lootbar.gg has you covered. They are the cheapest trading platform on the game, 8 to 10% cheaper than any others, 8% off if you use the code JT11 at the end at checkout, plus you get 5% extra on coins, with the fastest delivery system going, used by many FC25 creators such as Zorky, Manny Plus, and even pro owners. So if you need any coins, head over to lootbar.gg, make sure JT11's in the promo code, and hopefully you enjoy.
I think he was a Thunderstruck. What does it say? Just says icons. I don't know, what does it say on the SBC? I can't remember if he was a Thunderstruck. It's oh no, Centurions. That's what it is. It's because it looks like a Thunderstruck. Now, in terms of the player, not terrible. Like, I mean, he's not an awful player. He's definitely decent if you are starting brand new account, trying to get a new centre mid in there. He's got the incisive, the roles he's looking at, playmaker, box to box. Obviously in the cam he's got playmaker plus and shadow striker as well. He's got the incisive and a 4-4. I think in terms of an upgrade, that's pretty decent for a Veron. But realistically, body type never really works with him. Stats wise, is a little bit all over the place. He's kind of good for his dribbling and passing, and that's predominantly about it. And we've got so many players that are just as good, if not better. So that's going to be a big problem with him. Zanetti, I'm not much of a fan of at right back or left back, whatever you want to go with. I love Zanetti in a CDM. I think he works really well there. Him and Lahm are both better in that midfielder role, and the fact that he can't play it is a little bit annoying. Plus, they've given him a rapid plus. Again, not really feeling the rapid plus on him. He's only semi-decent with it. Like, rapid plus on a fullback is just not necessarily needed. So already I'm kind of half and half with both of them. I definitely prefer doing Veron more so than Zanetti. And of course, we got another centre mid. Now obviously with Xabi Alonso, this is an on the day or on this day icon. Now, obviously, he did get the long ball plus, as he did in the previous version. He's got a 4-star upgrade, nice pace upgrade, obviously shooting and passing by 3, 4 dribbling, and then he's lost 2 defending and also gained a physical. Now, his 446,000 coins. I mean, again, the problem you've got is you're going to be comparing him to the likes of a Patry or somebody else with that long ball plus. That's going to be a big issue. Like, if we just go here and go for playstyle pluses, and if we have a look who else has got that long ball plus, say if that's kind of what you want, all of these players have it. Obviously, get rid of Edison there, but in terms of what we're looking at price wise, he's going to be quite expensive, but he is technically grindable as such, but we do have the likes of a Sissoko that you could have put in the squad foundation, looking better and better for that 25,000 coins if you did manage to put him in. We do have a Patry, again, going to be slightly different stats, obviously pace, just a little bit less, more shooting, less passing, obviously. Dribbling wise, she will win that battle, and defensively she will as well. But then the body type as such will kind of more favour Xabi Alonso there. But then again, you go further down. The big thing that we've got is we have plenty of evolutions. I'm pretty sure one even gave us a long ball plus recently. Plus then anybody else that has been evolved into that point as well. It just makes him that little bit not wanting to be used, to be honest. You might as well save yourself some coins. So I think when it comes to these icons at this point, I don't think they're bad value. I really don't think they're awful. Like 300k, 400k for all of them isn't terrible. But to be honest with you, I would probably miss out on all of them. I think unless you're building a Man U past and present, Inter Milan, Liverpool or Real Madrid for Xabi Alonso, I don't really think they're worth doing, to be honest. I really think you could miss out on these and be absolutely fine. And all of them, more than likely, at some point will get a better version as we go through the game. So I think there's not really one where I'm like, go and complete this and you'll be very, very happy with your upgrade. I mean, there's plenty of gold and special cards out there that are cheaper and will give you that same result rather than wasting your fodder, because we've got a lot of upgrades. We've got a lot of packs. The obvious icon upgrade came up at 365. You've got plenty of Centurions to do, the Road to the Knockout, Rush and Trailblazers there as well. I don't mind the gamble a little bit because at least you're kind of putting the chance of tripling your value. I think when it comes to the Xabi Alonso's and Veron, yes, you are guaranteed that card, and maybe, yes, with the 90 icon, you could get a Cliver or a duplicate again, but at least there's a chance of somebody way higher. Like, you could get a Hullet in there. Very, very unlikely. So, it's kind of the FC in me that does like the gamble a little bit. But then we have got a lot of players as well. I still think Nunes is still absolutely impeccable value. For what you're getting, that striker for me is an absolute must. And we've got the second page for him. He's got 13 days to be completed, so he should be into the Thunderstruck and should be into a lot of good upgrade packs. I would suggest definitely getting him done. I think he's absolutely wonderful as a striker, and most definitely as we go forward, if he doesn't necessarily get a bigger upgrade, if we do get a double playstyle plus, which is likely to be team of the year again, if he does manage to get into an evolution and manages to get a power shot, a finesse shot, a Travella on that evolution as well, that card is going to be incredible. When we look at the rest of them, obviously you've got Robbie Keane. I don't think he's terrible value. Lewandowski, again, not awful. Musiala still coming in a little bit under my personal preference. Yilmaz is kind of more SBC storage, as we know. Putellas, again, or Putellas, I don't know how you pronounce the name, but Putellas, I'm going to go with that. And then obviously Chris Wood as well. Now with Putellas, you've obviously got the 5-star, you've got the 1.1 mil. Very, very expensive. The problem you've got is she is very good. I just don't think at this point, if you've not done her now or not tried to do her, you're probably not wanting to do her. And the longer you leave it, I think you've got to kind of almost decide on the day. Because now we've got how many days left? 7 days left. To put 1.1 million from scratch right now is going to be a lot harder, and you're going to have to either... But to be honest, I don't even know if you could grind the game that much to get that many fodder players. You more than likely have to have started it on day dot. It's what I always say when we get an Mbappe player of the month. Do him from the start and it doesn't look terrible. If you can get 1 squad done a day, 2 squad done every couple of days, whatever, if you manage to bulk out a lot of it and then you've got the 30 days to grind them out, it's not awful because at least you're spreading it across the 30 days. Trying to do it in a week, especially for as minimum coins spent, or at least a minimum real money spent, that's going to be a little bit more difficult. So I think at this point now, I'd probably say don't complete if you are starting her right now. If you're already completing her, I think she's a great card to do, but she is very, very expensive, as we can imagine. Musiala, I don't think that upgrade's worth it in the slightest. I think Robbie Keane and Lewandowski at this point are pretty decent values. Obviously, Chris Wood and Yilmaz being 40k and 15, 20k. I think they're just good SBC storages. Maybe an evolution down the line that you could put in to either be fodder or somebody that you actually put into a squad. always a potential. And I think that's the first page done. Which leads us to the next page, which doesn't actually have that many cards, to be honest. The ones that we've already kind of gone about from Oberdorf. You obviously got Oberdorf coming in at 140. You've got Diaz at 360. Beasley at 360. Kane at 140. The Italian striker at 60. And O'Hara at 100. Now, obviously with them, I think when we look at it, I would kind of go something along... And to be fair, I weren't a big fan of Beasley. I looked at him in Champs this week, and to be fair to him, not terrible. He's a decent card, to be fair. I will give him that kind of extra bit of flowers as such compared to how much doubt I gave him last week. I think with Diaz, there's too many centre-backs now. With the Bruiser Plus, I don't think he's worth the 370. There's going to be a better version of him. He's like Musiala. The upgrade's nice. Like, obviously, he's got a decent upgrade on him. Managing to get a bit more pace, which was exactly what we need. 13 to be exact. Obviously, 1 defending because that was already high enough. But realistically, I don't think that card comes in at nearly 400,000 coins. Especially when you can buy Virgil for 100. And I believe you can get Saliba more than likely for less than that now. 53,000. Them two have been absolutely solid for me, so I wouldn't necessarily put major value on him. Whereas then we look at the rest of them, I don't think any of these are necessarily bad values, but I wouldn't say they're really go out and complete cards. I think we've got a very almost underwhelming level of players there that you kind of just think, is it worth doing? Like, are you really wanting them cards to go into your team? Realistically, O'Hara would probably be the only one. If you've done Morgan, if you've got Smith, if you've got a Swanson upgrade, a Rodman upgrade, that's really the only time for the links that I'd say go and do her. Because realistically, she's got the Rapid Plus, again like Zanetti, not a major fan of it, to be honest. I think you definitely want more of a defensive playstyle plus, but then it's also each to their own. She can play that wingback role, which always works out pretty well. Which leads us to the new cards that we haven't spoke about. Some of them I'm a big fan of. I absolutely love Aubameyang in the game. He's always been fantastic. Obviously, he's coming in the Saudi League now. If you are starting to build the Saudi League, we are starting to get a fair few players. Obviously, CR7's going to be the number one there. We've got a cheeky bit of Neymar. Big boy Benz has now graced his presence in the FC Pro Live. We also have another SBC with Talisca as a flashback. Always a fantastic card, as we know. Benzema in form, Ronaldo in form. If you can't quite go for the big boys there, 1 million coins, fair enough. Then you've got the Diaby at 100k, Savic at 17k. There is starting to now become more and more players that you'd actually want in the team. With Aubameyang, I think for me, if I was looking at a team, if I don't have Saudi, great super sub. He's always got himself the nice controlled lengthy on the sniper if you wanted. He's normally got pretty good pace, as we know. Dribbling wise is a little bit less, I'm not going to lie. But I do think with this card, the one thing that you've always got to remember is there isn't much of a chance that he gets a big upgrade guaranteed. When he normally had, well, I suppose in team of the season potential, but if he's not actually performing in the Saudi League, there's very few chances that he will get an upgrade. So an evolution point of view, he's going to be one that I personally think is a great value card. Again, whether I'd say he's a must complete, I probably wouldn't. I think he can be just one of them ones you finish off with the storage. Maybe you just finish off once you've done Nunes and you're kind of just going through the motions. And it will depend on how many gamble SBCs we get and then also how many upgrades we do get during Thunderstruck. But normally we do get a decent amount of upgrade packs. Whether we get the players to follow as well, that will then depend on what I personally would say is worth doing. Now obviously going to his counterpart, Talisca, coming in with 196k of value. I think another nice card as well. He's always been fantastic in the game. Obviously he's had many times where he's been that high rated Saudi team of the season. Last year was a little bit underwhelming for him, but he did manage to get into the evolution builder. Obviously during the footies he managed to get up there, which was always nice. This year will probably be the same again. Whether he gets into the team of the season, I doubt it very much. So realistically, you're going to be looking at this card again like Aubameyang for maybe an evolution that comes in the near future. We do have the Ligue 1 Player of the Month. To be honest, not really worth mentioning too much. He's coming in at 40,000 coins. Flair Plus, I'd say he's going to be SBC storage. Again, potential evolution, but more than likely, he's just plain fodder that's going to be just completed just to complete him. That's about it, really. We do then also have Boy, I believe is how you pronounce his name. Solid right back. Absolutely love this FC Pro Live card. He's going to be a potential for an upgrade, which is always nice. Whether his Pro does progress with a 3, 6, 10... I want to say 12 or 15, and then the qualifier points as well. There is a potential, if he was to get into the knockouts, that he does go up to that 90 rated. He's got the technical plus. Again, not necessarily the biggest fan of that, if I'm being honest, but in terms of the card himself, I think it's a very nice one. 170,000. In terms of Bundesliga, I'd probably say he's quite worth it, to be fair. When we look at the kind of right backs that we do have for them, obviously we've got Frimpong as a big one there, but coming in at a massive price. So he easily puts himself in that number 2 spot, and if you don't want to pay 600,000-700,000 for Frimpong, he is an easy one that you can get in quite there. We're easily going to put Lamar in as well. Absolutely brilliant card for the value. Obviously, he's coming in very cheap at 66,000. Potential evolution later on down the line. Like we said with Sissoko, he was a cracking one because the evolution was there in front of you. So it was like easy to say, yes, get this card done for 25,000 coins. Put him straight in that evolution, the double evolution that got him up there. This is one that we've got to take our kind of notes and think, well, if Sissoko was good then, this card has a potential to be really good in the future as well, especially with how many midfielder evolutions we've had in the previous couple of months. We've had probably about 6 or 7 solid midfielders, not necessarily game-changing, but solid. So the future is looking bright, and especially with the array of stats that he does has, I think he's going to be one that is well worth absolutely having a look at. Which leads us to Francesco. Yeah. 140,000, obviously going into Serie A, which has got quite a few players. So he's kind of in there, but he's got the quick step, which is normally a tick in my box. Stat-wise, looking good on the pace, obviously. Going for maybe a finisher, just to get that shooting and dribbling. 90 rated on the overall. I can imagine a lot of people are going to be looking at more the marksman, as we kind of imagined. People love adding that bit of strength, which, to be honest, I know he's got obviously a lot of already agility balance, so I can kind of see the difference there that you can make. Obviously, shooting wise does go down a little bit more as well because you're not going for the finisher, but you could kind of flex between them, which again I think is a fantastic card. The only thing that I would say with him, the 3-star weak foot is a little bit distracting as such, because obviously when we've got the Serie A, we've got plenty of cards. They always like giving special cards to the Serie A. It's just an easy one. Kvaratskhelia multiple times. Pulisic, who is a fantastic card there. Obviously, you've got Man. You've got Politano as well that you could have done. Plenty of cards with the same sort of attributes. Now, the only thing that's going in his favour for me would be that Quick Step Plus. I think it's a fantastic playstyle plus this year, but I wouldn't say he's still a must complete yet. Maybe we did get an evolution for a 4-star weak foot, gets a skill move or weak foot upgrade, and it does not give any more stat upgrades. That could be a potential for him, which we have seen in the previous past as well. But that's going to be all my SBC players for today. Let me know down below how you're getting on with them. Are you completing many, or are you finding you're just doing the icon and hero packs? Let me know down below, and I'll catch you all for the next one. Peace.